So welcome to Sugarloaf Campground. It's in Twin Mountain area of New Hampshire. It's one of my favorite campgrounds here for a few reasons. One, it's well spaced between all the various campsites. It's nice and quiet here. And you probably hear the birds chirping and everything right now. So because of that, that's one reason. And two, the number of hiking trails around here. There's tons of hiking. We're right on a couple of different rivers around here. It's just a beautiful place here. And you can spend an entire day hiking in this area. You just stay up at the campsite. You don't have to drive any place, things like that. There's a lot of campgrounds there's just nothing to do right at the campground, but this campground is loaded with stuff. So, I know I've shown some video of the campground and stuff before, but today we're going to do a little tour of the Sugarloaf Campground. Both loops 1 and 2. I'm currently in loop 2, so we're going to start there. We're going to start right from my campsite here. And we'll go through here, then we'll go down to loop 1 and take a look down there. Okay, so this is the way out to my campsite. You know, I got a nice big driveway into mine here. It's the kind of way I like it, a little bit more set back from the road than some of the other sites are. The loop itself is paved. So, road up here is a little rough, so just be prepared. See, I'm in campsite number 4, and it's nicely set back from the road just the way I like it. Here's site 6 over here. An empty site here at the moment. This one's not reserved. I'm not even sure if it's reservable. But nice little site. Better fire pit than I have because it's got that extra level on it. Wish I had one of those. But you can see how far it is from my site. You can barely even see it in this camera, but you can see it there. Yeah, a little further up the road, come across the bathroom facilities here. Typical vault toilet type configuration at this campground. If you're more into flush toilets, you want loop 1 instead. Loop 1 has flush toilets. Loop 2 just has vault toilets. So, you got your dumpsters. They've got a few dumpsters spaced around the campground. There's always one nearby. And a variety of different sites here. You can see the sites are all that are reservable. They're sometimes well reserved out here. A lot of people just staying 1 or 2 nights, kind of like myself here. I'm just doing 2 nights here. There's a stop along the way. Some of these campgrounds here you set up, you park out here and you walk into the actual camping area. Good for tenting, not good for somebody like me who likes to camp right out of my vehicle. I showed this trail in a previous video there. I'll include a link to it in the description there. This is when I did my week-long adventure up here, up in the White Mountains last September. I hiked down there, so I'm not going to show that again today. And yes, the bridge really is out. I've always camped when I come here, camped in the same site here. I think I'm going to try camping in a different site, probably down this side here someplace next time, because you can hear the river over here. You can't hear it at the site I'm at. It's a good place to visit. Like I said, this is definitely one of my favorite campgrounds. Nice little field over here, so if you want to come out and have some fun here in the sun, this is a good spot to come down to. You got this little open field. Here's site 18. It's actually reserved right now, but there doesn't seem to be anybody here. I'm not sure where they are. Somebody's supposed to have this site, but they apparently didn't show up. This is the best site, site 18. I'll show you why here. I'm going to try to get this one next to you. Come in here. And the river's right down there. I know it's hard to see in this camera, but the river's down there. Best sight of it from any of the campsites, and you get to listen to it all night. So, I want to try this one. Try to get this site next to you. That'll be a lot of fun. Also of note, if you're the kind of person who likes to be a little bit more spontaneous, this may be a good campground too. Here it is, middle of July. There's several non-reservable sites that are empty. So, if you come midweek, you can get right into a site without an issue. You got a whole bunch of the empty, non-reservable sites over here. So again, if you're looking for a quick stop here on the way here, it's middle of the week, even in July, you can find an empty site here. So, just something to keep in mind. There are places, even with a surge of campers this year and everything, Most people are still weekend warriors, so I probably wouldn't suggest trying to come in here on a weekend trying to find a site. I bet this place gets full. That's pretty much Loop 2. Now we're going to work our way down to Loop 1 here. I'll give you a tour of that too. Now just note too, keep in mind that no place in this campground sells firewood here. So if you want firewood, you got to bring it in with you. So I'd suggest stopping on the way in. Usually I stop at Foster's General Store, but they're closed for remodeling right now, so that didn't work out too well. But I do recommend making sure you get some firewood, especially if you're like me and you don't like to drive out again afterwards. So, so make sure you bring some firewood with you, enough to get you through the whole trip, because you're not buying it at the campground. It's just typical national forest type campground here. You gotta pull out a slip, which they seem to be out of at the moment. Oh no, they're up here. There they are. Honey up there. Pull out the slip. Make sure you bring a pen with you, because they don't have any here. Fill it out and then you drop it in here. $20 a night. Yeah, this little area here is right in between the two campgrounds. I'll just give you a quick tour of this too. This isn't actually part of the campground tour, but it's kind of a neat spot here. Like an old style wooden water tank here. I think that's what feeds water for the whole campground here. Property of the United States. Obviously you're not supposed to be trespassing around the water tank. Propane tank here. I'm not quite sure for what, but probably some sort of a water pump inside that building there so they can fill this tank up here. But yeah, I think this is the water source of the campground. Makes sense to get it up nice and high, just like gravity feed it. But yeah, I think that's what's going on here. There's probably a pump in there that powers a propane-fired pump that powers the water system there to get water up there. Maybe a propane-fired generator, I don't know. I can't fathom any other reason they'd be using propane out here, because this is certainly not hot water. And the campground shuts down in the wintertime, so they don't need to keep the water heated to keep the pipes from freezing, so I suspect it's just a propane-fired generator that runs a pump. Alright, as I said, it's kind of a rough road. This area isn't too bad, but there's some good potholes you got to go through on the way up here. And be careful when you're walking, if you do come out walking on this road, because people come bombing up this road sometimes. Way faster than they should be driving here. Anyway, this is the entrance to Loop 1. Pretty much standard fare, same basic thing as Loop 2. There's a few little interesting differences we'll look around. There's your self-check-in station, same price, $20. Right at the front campsite. One of the ones you gotta park in and walk up into. You see the mountain from up here. Not sure which mountain that is, but it's a nice view of it. Same thing, site 2 is park in and walk up. You also have solar power here. Nice little solar panel. And according to the sign on the building there, they've got power inverters, things like that in there, so probably a bank of batteries too, I suspect. That's how they get the campground power. A little bit of power at this site because the bathrooms are a little better quality. Unless they got lighting and ventilation and flush toilets here. Again, middle of the week here, it's fairly quiet. So if you're tent camping, they've got some really these are some nice sites here. You park your car up front there, but you can walk in there. You got a nice little treated area there to park in. I mean, just camp in there. It's pretty nice. Campsite 9, one of the coolest ones where you park in and park at the front and walk into, because the campsite itself is way back from the road over there. So if you want some privacy in your tenting, this is a good site. I'd grab that site if the road went all the way in and I could park at the site, but you can't. And this is the bathhouse for Loop 1. Again, as I said, it's a little bit better quality. It's got flush toilets, and I think it's got lighting and stuff in it too, probably powered from those solar panels. There's a nice big site, lots of sunlight too. I could charge my solar panel off that nicely. The second bathhouse on this side. So not everybody's sharing just one for the whole campground, that's good. 28, that would be a neat one to grab sometime too. Even though it's one of the ones you park, it's a different spot there, but nice level parking spot. Nice big area here. We'd have to consider that one sometime too. Again, I like this campground. I'll be making a lot more trips up here. There's always something to explore here. A lot of good hikes and everything else. So back to the beginning again. There's the solar panel. Powers the campground. And now it's time to head back. So that's the end of the tour of the campground there. So I try to get a good tour of every campground I visit along the way here so people can see what they look like. I know there's sometimes not a lot of information about these various campgrounds, so whenever I stop at a campground there and stay for a few nights, I'm going to try to get out there and get you a little bit of a tour of it. So hopefully you found it helpful. If you'd like to see more of these, remember to hit the subscribe button down below. Give me a like and tell me what you think in the comments too. I love hearing comments from people, so let me know. Otherwise, remember, this is a pretty hectic world these days. Everybody's in a hurry, so do remember to slow down and enjoy life. Just try to keep pushing that thought. It's an important one. People go too fast all the time. You see it right here on this campground here. People driving way too quickly on the roads and that. So do remember that one. Anyway, thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.